Hello class! Class time, sa ating last video, diniscuss natin yung quadrilaterals. Nalaman natin na ang quadrilaterals ay consists of 4 sides. Now, as part of our review, you are going to match the term or phrase in column A with the figure it describes in column B. You have 1 minute to answer this question. You are going to write only the letter of the correct answer on a piece of paper. Okay? If you are ready, you have 1 minute. It starts now. Time is up. Let us answer. Number 1, square. If your answer is letter C, you got it right. Next, number 2, rhombus, letter D. 3, parallelogram, letter B. 4, rectangle, letter A. And number 5, trapezoid is letter E. Now, let us proceed to our next lesson about properties of a parallelogram. Are you excited for our fun learning session for today? If you are ready, here are the objectives. Number 1, identify the characteristics of quadrilaterals that prove they are parallelograms. And solve for the given parallelograms using the properties of parallelograms. There are 6 properties of parallelograms. Number 1, the opposite sides of a parallelogram are parallel. From the definition of a parallelogram. Number 2, the opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. 3, the opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. 4, the consecutive angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. 5, the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. And last, each diagonal divides a parallelogram into 2 congruent triangles. But before we proceed to our first property, ano ba yung definition ng parallelogram? Kapag sinabi natin parallelogram, okay, from the word parallel. So yung parallel or parallel lines, these are lines that do not meet or do not intersect. Kumbaga ba sa relasyon, hindi sila magtagpo. Wala lang, na-relate ko lang. Okay? So pansin nyo po, yung parallelogram natin, meron siyang parallel line. So ito, tsaka yun. So they are parallel. And this one, and that line. So kaya tinawag siyang parallelogram. So, didiscuss natin yung mga properties of parallelogram one by one. So, unahin natin po yung property number 1. But before that, we have given parallelogram EMAN. So, property 1. So, the opposite sides are parallel. So, ito yung given parallelogram natin. So yung line segment EM, ito is parallel. So, kapag nakita kayo ng ganitong symbol, ibig sabihin yan ay parallel. Is parallel to line segment NA. And line segment EN is parallel to line segment MA. So yan po ating property number 1. Next, property number 2, the opposite sides are congruent. So we have line segment EM and NA. So they are opposite sides. So congruent sila. Right? And ito, line segment EN is congruent to line segment MA. Next, number 3, the opposite angles are congruent. So, angle A, itong angle na to is congruent to angle E since they are opposite angles. Next, angle M, ito congruent sa angle N. So, equal po yung measurement nila. Okay. Next, property number 4. So, we have consecutive angles are supplementary. So, ano ba yung tinatawag na consecutive angles? Pag sinabi natin consecutive angles, ito po yung angles na magkakasunod. So, ito, angle E tsaka angle M. So, magkasunod po sila. Angle M and angle A, yan, magkasunod. Angle N and angle N, yan, magkasunod din. Angle N and angle E, magkasunod po. Are supplementary. So, when we say supplementary, these are the two angles. The sum of two angles is equivalent to 180 degrees. Pag pinag-add po natin yung dalawang angle, equal po sila sa 180 degrees. Kaya nga, itong measure of angle E, ito, pag pinag-add natin itong measure of angle M, equivalent po sila sa 180 degrees. Tapos, yung measure of angle M plus measure of angle A is also 180 degrees. Measure of angle A, ito at ito, pag pinag-add natin, 180 degrees din po yan. And measure of angle N and angle E is 180 degrees. Next, property 5, diagonals bisect each other. So ano ba yung diagonals na tinatawag? Ito po siya. Itong line segment MN at line segment EA, itong dalawa. Diagonals po ang tawag natin diyan. So for example, if diagonals of EA, pansinin nyo, itong diagonals of EA bisects dito sa line segment NM, ibig sabihin, yung line segment MD, ito ay congruent po sa DN. So equal po yung measures nila. So kapag naman yung MN nag-bisects po dun sa ating line segment EA, so this means that line segment ED is congruent to line segment DA. So yan po yung ating property number 5. Next, the last property, each diagonal bisects the parallelogram into two congruent triangles. Pansinin nyo po, so meron tayong diagonals dito. Nung nilagyan natin ng diagonals, ilan po yung triangles na nag-form? Okay, dalawa. No? So ito at ito. So ganun din po dun sa kabila. No? Dalawang triangle din yung nag-form. So for diagonal line segment NM, so we can say that triangle NEM, itong triangle na to, ay congruent po dun sa triangle MA at N. So kapag naman itong triangle EA, so line segment EA, so yung triangle EMA, ito ay congruent po dito sa triangle A and E. Okay? So yan po ang ating mga properties ng parallelogram. Now, your turn. We have a seat work. For items 1 to 10, refer to the parallelogram NOEL. Ito yung ating figure. You are going to write your answer on a piece of paper. You may comment your answer in our comment box of this video. I will give you 5 minutes to answer these questions. Okay? You have 5 minutes. Okay, if you are ready, your 5 minutes starts now. Okay, time is up. So let us answer our seat work. From number 1, the side parallel to OL. So nasan yung ating line segment OL? So ito yon OL. So saan siya parallel? So yan yon line segment NE. Ito po. Next, number 2, the side congruent to EL. So ito yon. So line segment NO. Ito po. Next, number 3, the side parallel to ON. That is line segment LE. Okay, ito po, LE. Next, the side congruent to NE. So, congruent siya sa line segment OL. Okay. Next, number 5, the angle congruent to NEL. Ito, NEL. So, itong angle na to. So, the answer is angle NOL. Ito. Next, the angle congruent to ELO. ELO. Ito po. So, the answer is angle ENO. ENO. So, ito po yun. Next, the angle supplementary to angle NOL. There are two. Angle OLE and angle ONE. So, yun lang po yung dalawang sunod. Or angle supplementary to angle NOL. Next, 8. The congruent line segments when OE bisects NL. The answer is NM is congruent to MM. Number 9, the congruent line segments when LN bisects EO. So the answer is EM, line segment EM is congruent to MO. And number 10, the two congruent triangles formed by diagonal NL is triangle NOL is congruent to triangle LEN. Okay? So count the number of checks. Okay, if you got a perfect 10, we will now proceed to our next slides. But if you got lowest score, lower than 5, okay, you may start again of this video para ma-review nyo uli yung ating lesson hanggang sa ma-gets nyo po yung ating pinag-aaralan today. So, yan. So, let us continue. For example, use the properties to solve for the parallelogram. So by this time, bibigyan na natin ng twist. So meron na tayo mga measures. Yung given yung sides, saka yung ating angles. So let's say for example, JEAN is our parallelogram. As you can see, given the line segment JE, which is 20 centimeters, and line segment EA, 17 centimeters. So, meron tayong given na angle, JNL. So, mapapansin nyo, nasa labas siya or exterior angle natin ay 117 degrees. Now, we are going to find the line segment JN, line segment NA, measure of angle E, and measure of angle A. So, from number 1, remember that the opposite sides are congruent. So, sabi natin na ang line segment JN ay congruent sa line segment EA. Since ang measure ng ating EA is 17 centimeters, ilan yung ating JN? So, we can say that the line segment JN is equal to 17 centimeters. Okay? Next, letter B, the opposite sides are congruent. So, for line segment NA is congruent to line segment JE. Since the measure of line segment JE is 20 centimeters, we can say that the line segment NA is also equal to 20 centimeters. So, ganun lang po siya kadali. Next number, letter C. Okay, to find the measure of angle E, we need to find the measure of angle J and A since the sum of two consecutive angles are supplementary. So, we have measure of angle J and L plus measure of angle J and A is equal to 180 degrees. Bakit ba nangyari yun? Remember, mapapansin nyo dito na itong line L, N at A na to ay straight line. Okay, sabi natin, ang straight line ay equivalent sa 180 degrees. So paano natin makukuha ngayon yung angle J and A? So, yung angle J and A natin, so ima-minus natin doon sa 180 minus measure of angle J and A. So yung JNA natin, so nilipat po sa kabila. So yung positive measure of angle JNA, so becomes negative. So kaya naging ganyan po siya. So ima-minus po natin. So pag minus po natin siya dun sa 170 degrees, so magiging sagot po natin ay 63 degrees. So yung magiging measure po nito ay 63 degrees. Remember that the opposite angles are congruent. So yung angle E natin ay congruent po dito sa measure of angle J and A. Therefore, if angle J and A is 63 degrees, ilan yung ating angle E? So the value of angle E is also equal to 63 degrees. Okay? Next, measure of angle A for letter D. Since the supplements of the same angle are congruent. So yung angle A, itong angle na yon ay equal sa angle of J and N. So isa rin po siya sa mga theorem, no? So mapapansin nyo, same angle lang din po siya. So what type of angle is that? So yan ay obtuse angle. So since meron tayo 117 degrees dito, so ilan yung magiging value din dito? So therefore, we can say that the angle A is equal to 117 degrees. Yan po. Okay. Now, for your seat work, okay, you are going to answer this. So refer to parallelogram MONA. You are going to complete each statement. Write your answer on a piece of paper. So I will give you 10 minutes to answer this question. Okay. Your 10 minutes starts now. Okay, time is up. So let us answer. From number 1, if line segment MO is 18, then what is line segment AN? So kung 18 daw po yung ating measure ng line segment MO, so ang AN natin ay 18 din. Okay? Next, number 2, if line segment AD is equal to 15, so ito daw ay 15, ilan daw po yung line segment AO? So kung 15 to, so sabi natin, congruent yung yung dalawang diagonal na nahati doon o nag-bisect. So 15 plus 15, therefore, the answer is 30. Next, if line segment MN is 14, so yung DN natin ay ilan? So kung 14 to yung isang buong diagonal na to, so para makuha po yung DN, so kunin nyo lang po yung kalahati ng 14. So yung sagot dyan ay 7. Next, if MA is 12, so kung ito daw po ay 12, ilan yung ON? So sagot natin ay 12 din. So opposite sides are congruent. Next, from 5 to 6, if measure of angle MON is 80, so kung 80 daw po ito, ilan yung measure of angle MAN? So ito yung hinahanap, no? So yung MAN natin, kung ito daw po ay 80 degrees, ilan itong MAN? So ang sagot natin ay 80 degrees din. Anong properties? Opposite angles are congruent. So yung measure of angle ONA, ang hanapin ONA, so itong angle na to. So kung may 80 tayo dito, so ilan yung magiging measure ng ONA? So ang sagot po dyan is 100 degrees. So paano po nakuha yung 100 degrees? So yung 180 degrees, isusubtract lang po natin dun sa 80 degrees para makuha po natin yung measure of angle ONA, which is 100. So kung 80 to, plus 100 is 180 degrees. So pasok po siya sa ating property number 6 na consecutive angles are supplementary. Next, if measure of angle MOA is 38 degrees, ilan yung measure of angle OAN? So nasan yung po yung MOA? MOA. So itong angle na po ito. So ilan yung OAN? OAN. So itong angle na to. So kung 38 po ito, 38 degrees. So, yung measure po ng OAN ay equal din sa 38 degrees. Okay? Next, measure of angle MAN ay 46 degrees. MAN ito. So, ilan yung MNO? AMN pala. Measure of angle AMN. Itong angle na to ay 46 degrees. Ilan po yung measure ng MNO? So, kung 46 degrees din po yan, so therefore, yan din ay 46 degree din. Okay? So, yan po ang ating mga kasagutan. So, kapag nakakuha po kayo ng 8, so ibig sabihin, you understand our lesson. Okay? So, kung hindi naman po na kuha, below than 4, okay, pwede nyo pong balikan po uli yung ating video para po ma-review yung ating lesson for today. Okay, so let us recap of our lesson. So the properties of a parallelogram. So remember the different properties of parallelogram. Number 1, the opposite sides of a parallelogram are parallel from the definition of a parallelogram. Second, the opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. Third, the opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. 4, the consecutive angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. 5, the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. And last, each diagonal divides a parallelogram into two congruent triangles. Okay? So, please subscribe my YouTube channel. So, don't forget to like, comment, share our videos, and hit the notification bell to be updated in our latest videos. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned. Take care and God bless us all.